What up, everybody? I am Mr. Williams, better known as the Irate Mastermind according to the Wu-Tang name generator. And I know it's been a while since I've talked to you guys, but I'm back now, at least for the day, you know what I'm saying? It depends on my moods, I promise you. You know, the ebb and flow is kind of back and forth, you know what I'm saying, with the energy to kind of get on here and talk about all the stuff that just goes on, because I swear to God, there's something new every day. But, I had a few things on my mind, you know, um, perusing YouTube lately. I had watched a lot of Kevin Samuels videos. There's like people are slowly but surely coming for him. Not pleased by the way he talked to some of the guests on his show, but at the same time, for me, to each his own and how they, how they speak. But I can't. I'd be lying if I said I didn't kind of agree with some of the points that he makes in light of some of the things that are being said by some of the ladies. You know, but be that as it may, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, to each his own. And then there was some news today. I saw it out of Elizabeth City, North Carolina, where the brother that had got shot by police while they were trying to serve a warrant, the DA decided that the shooting was justified, so none of those officers would be charged. And I see, when the DA first started, giving his, his soliloquy, about the decision and the outcome of the internal investigation or whatever, and he said that the shootings was justified, and he played over the body cam footage, frame by frame, and outlined his case as to why the shooting was justified, and then he played the recording itself in full speed, which happened pretty fast. But for me, you're gonna have a hard time selling me on shooting people inside of cars, because there's other stuff. Apparently there were two other law enforcement vehicles that were further up the street. So even if them cops had gotten out of the way and let him, get out of his yard, I'm pretty sure he would have been apprehended somewhere, later on down the road, perhaps alive, but at the same time, I feel like, whether you can find reason to justify it or not, man, it just feels like those cops held court in the street. It doesn't feel like, that there was no due process. It's just, to me, you say what you want to. I know people hear the words drug dealer or, somebody's prior arrest record or whatever, and immediately, everybody jumps to, oh, well, this was justified. He was this, he was that. Like, I'd be remiss to believe that these same people would feel the same way if it involved their loved one. No matter what color the person was. If it was your loved one, I feel like you feel differently. You feel like they were the best person in the world. They were just doing what they could to make the lives of themselves and their families better. So, I think what's lacking a lot is empathy, right after, well, actually, as I was watching, the press conference from the DA in Elizabeth City, right as I was watching it, an alert came up on my watch, and it was the Daily Mail. Their headline for that breaking news was drug dealer that was shot and killed. Police find shooting justified. Like he didn't have a name. Well, they used his name and drug dealer. That's not all that man was. And the Daily Mail is good for stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Just like that's demeaning, and it devalues that man's life. It's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that the man didn't sell drugs. He didn't sell the cops cocaine. I'm not saying he didn't sell them heroin. But what I am saying is that he didn't have to die in the street like an animal, and that's my opinion. I know there are going to be those of you who disagree, but we also see people doing some of the wildest stuff make it out unscathed to face their day in court. And honest to God, man, we have to take real account. That's not exactly what we see going on when it comes to interaction between African Americans and law enforcement. And as much as I try to stay optimistic about law enforcement, you know what I'm saying? Because the function is real and it's necessary, you know. But at the same time, man, part of me is like, man, fuck them. You know, all of them. But, you know, that, you know, you can't, your mind can't be that close. It's just not, it's not the way to be. You know what I'm saying? I can't live that pent up. I can't, you know, I have to keep my certain level of optimism about these situations. But there, you know, there's still more law enforcement trials to come up. You know, you have the other 3 officers that were also charged in the George Floyd incident this past summer. You know, so, you know, more justice to come in those situations. And, you know what I'm saying, the Dante Wright situation, you know, that manslaughter trial is gonna go forward, the judge ruled. So, you know, we need, as long as we start seeing some justice, you know, in this process where these law enforcement officers aren't held accountable, you know. And again, man, we got to press the politicians. You know, we letting these narratives get changed so much, and they always keep the constituents in the weeds and separated. You know, because I've said this in prior videos, you know, the United States should look just like some of these other countries where the people are always out in the street throwing stuff and raising hell all the time. Because look, we are getting just as fucked as they are, except for we got these American notions, the first world notions, that we all bougie in our own way. That's why we sit here and we take it. You know, we sit here and we take it. And, you know, we all saw on January 6th who, you know what I'm saying, who rushed the Capitol. You know what I'm saying? But the truth be told, if they weren't so blind by their bigotry, you know what I'm saying, and nativism, you know, they will find out that they have some of the same complaints and gripes as the people that they dislike for no reason other than skin color or where they come from. You know, and if we could all get on the same page, then we might get some real change. But it's gonna be hard to get change fighting against each other. You know what I'm saying? For silly ass reasons. You know, it's gonna be the hardest thing to do, man. I talk to my buddy about it all the time, and you know, like I said, I'm an optimist. But my buddy's he's a little bit more pessimistic on it. You know what I'm saying, than I am. But even with his pessimism, and I disagree with it, but man, he has a point, because you can look and see the outcomes of it every day. You know what I'm saying? It's so easy to divide the population. And, you know, you show one group something shiny, and then you show the other group something shiny, and they, you know, everybody running around like chickens with their heads cut off, throwing poop at each other. You know, and again, you know, we have to and we can do better, but we definitely have to. We got to find a way forward. You know, but that's where we at right now. And like I started off before when I was talking about the Kevin Samuels videos, like I said, a lot of what that brother says is good information if you listen. It depends, like, shit just depends on what ears you listening with. You know, because I understand like women getting mad, you know, not wanting to hear things a certain way, but not wanting to hear something don't make it not true. Or don't make it somehow, you know what I'm saying, relevant in some way. You know, like, I don't know a man that likes to hear a woman say what a man's supposed to be. You're a woman. How are you as a woman supposed to tell me what a man is supposed to be? You know what I'm saying? So what you don't like a man saying to you is the same thing that I don't like. I wouldn't like to hear coming from you. You haven't walked a day in a male's shoes, not a male black man's shoes. You can have opinions and, you know, to situations you've been abreast to, but you don't know everybody, so you can't speak with universal opinions. And I think that's a lot of what Kevin doesn't let them do. You can't universal opinions and stereotypes, you know, like, because if your reason for your behavior is that all the good men are locked up, that's not true. That's not true, because if they were, that means that they just snatched random ass black men off the street and just threw them in jail. So they're of no fault of their own, you know. And that's not to knock those brothers, because we know the system is rigged against us to a certain degree. But with that being said, you have to be in the proximity of that shit to get caught up in that net. That's not a net that you necessarily walk around in every day. You got to put yourself in that to some degree. So, But like I said, I mean, a lot of those problems, you know what I'm saying, the battle of the sexes problem, I don't have them myself personally. I see them, and, you know, they kind of bother me as a man who, you know, I am the kind of man that I am, you know what I'm saying? You know, you'd have to ask the people that I dealt with, you know, what kind of man that is. But, you know, I really think we need to stop, you know, wrapping ourselves up in blanket statements, you know what I'm saying, the blanket, you know, blanket mentalities, you know what I'm saying? Because I think we know a little bit, because that, like I said in a previous video, you know what I'm saying, people still falling in love, man. They still getting married and having kids, you know. You know, and I think some of the attraction to Kevin Samuels stuff is that people just want to be on this beat. So I think some of those people are on there just fronting. You know what I'm saying? They saying wild shit to get a wild response, you know. And so I think some of that is what's driving it, you know, to a certain degree. But again, that's not to say that I feel like anything that Kevin's saying is wrong. Now, I mean, sometimes I might think some of those digs aren't necessary. But in some cases, you know what I'm saying, it kind of is what it is. It's not like it's not really like a back and forth. I mean, it's his platform. They come on the platform. You know, if you ever watched it, you kind of know what to expect. You know how to conduct the conversation. I mean, I've seen a couple of times where he might have steered it a little bit to where he could just go ahead and kind of let the person have it a little bit. But, you know, like I said, man, there's good content, and like a lot of things that everybody has problems with. Nobody don't want to be told nothing. Nobody don't want to listen. Nobody want to take a little bit of constructive criticism. You know, and we could all do better than that, myself included. I'm Mr. Williams. This is our DNA. Peace.